What's going on, everybody? Let's make sure I'm unmuted here. Yep, looks like we're good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 4 laps down. I almost said fourth and long. I'll get this right one of these days. Welcome to 4 laps down. I'm Nathan. We got Chip here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was looking at
Oh, that's a
he
weird
looked
face you're making.
he looked so small when he was sitting down waiting, so I was
Yeah,
wondering what
let's
he was
see
doing.
here. And ladies,
There he
ladies and
is.
gentlemen, welcome our guest, TaMarcus Morgan. He's off screen again. I don't know where he went. Here he comes.
There he is.
TaMarcus, how are you, buddy?
What's up? Tired.
Tired? I bet. You've had a long week. You've had a long couple
Yeah.
weeks.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's been a couple weeks
Couple
for him.
weeks, yeah. Couple weeks. Indeed, yeah, for sure.
Yep. So TaMarcus is here to talk a little rubbing and racing with us. TaMarcus, why don't you start out by telling the folks at home a little bit about yourself and more specifically, kind of your background with racing and your current involvement.
Well, I'm black. No, I'm fucking with you. I'm sorry.
That is true. That is true.
No,
but
we already hit
yes.
that one. We can check that.
I'm TaMarcus, from High Point, North Carolina. What I do for RWR is social media and marketing stuff. And also I'm trying to get some seat time for some pro late model racing. So hopefully that happens. But my background with racing, 6 years old, fell in love with it. Martin was my favorite, and ever since then it took off. And now look at me now, the GOAT, man.
Yeah, he's awesome. I've told everyone that'll listen, Mark Martin's the greatest racer to never win a championship. Period. And to me, I loved it. I love what Denny Hamlin does on the track, but it's not close. It's not close. I think Mark's the greatest one. So I'm with you, man. I used to love that old school Valvoline car back in the 90s that he drove. Man, that's one of my favorite paint schemes of all time. So you do
oh yeah, that one is a good one too.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I was just going to say, so you work with Rick Ware Racing, and as you said before, you do social media marketing for them. So talk to us a little bit more in depth. So what does your day-to-day involvement look like with Rick Ware?
Day to day, pleasing sponsors, going through my camera, seeing what footage or video or photos that looks good, what's not good to post. Like I said, make sure that the drivers approve the videos or pictures, because you don't want no ugly pictures. You go on the internet, then it gets on Twitter and people roasting you, right? So just and also like answering the fan mail, or try to at least, is the big thing right now, because a lot of people, like, since the 24-hour race, it's been booming. So that's one thing I have to, I guess, get back onto actually here soon.
Yeah. So go ahead, Chip.
Well, no, and he talks about, and I've seen it before on your social media. Rick Ware is definitely one of those smaller market teams, because I've seen it on yours. You've had the opportunity to actually go to a lot of different places as far as promotion and stuff like that for the company. And I know you've done it a few times. Talk about it. I mean, you've been to a couple military bases as well that you've been able to show the car off. When Nurtec came on as a sponsor, I know you were out at a couple Air Force or military bases.
Correct. Well, with Nurtec, there are a lot of people that's in with Nurtec that's either was former Marine, Navy, Air Force. If I forget one, who else? Army. So,
bro, we're in North Carolina.
Watching,
it's Fort Bragg.
Well, yeah, the Bragg or Camp Lejeune or
Camp Lejeune.
But to all the people that are serving, thank you. Cops, thank you. Firemen, EMS, doctors, thank you. But anyway, it was pretty cool getting on base. One was Quantico, which is near the White House. Which we finally got approved to post our pictures, which Chip, I'm going to send you guys, and hope you enjoy them. But it was pretty cool to see the planes, helicopters that the presidents get on and off. But it was pretty cool to see them enjoy what we do, and vice versa. So that was some pretty cool stuff.
So I have a question about, you had mentioned, taking pictures of drivers and stuff like that. So I've seen some of your photos that you took. So you were down at Daytona for the 24 hours. You've obviously been there for Speed Weeks. I assume you're going back this weekend.
Sunday. Yep.
What was the weather like down there? Because I got a foot of snow on the ground, and I've shoveled my driveway 3 times in a week, and I'm ready to strangle somebody over it.
Yeah, but see, I have a boat up here. He knows it in North Carolina. We're up here rowing to get out of our front yards, so we're on the polar opposites.
Yeah.
The weather for the 24-hour was miserable. Sorry,
it rained, didn't it?
But for a tad bit, not much.
Yeah, it was for a little
Wasn't
bit.
much. Now Daytona, it rained like a son bitch. But the weather there was cool. It was just weird. It was kind of cool, and then it got hot. Then it rained. Then next thing you know, it got cool again.
Yeah.
So during the Daytona 500, that race that we waited 5 hours and 14 minutes. I'm gonna say yeah, it was cool. Like, it got really cold.
Wow.
Like, really cold.
So just to catch up real quick on the chat, Casey Hinderberger here says, "What's up, guys?" Rick Diamond says it's racing season. Bobby Peters says, "Watching you guys while we broadcast. How's it going, TaMarcus?" And
What's up, buddy?
And Ed DeBoer from E4 Racing Team says, "Get over it, Silver Thunder," because apparently in Cadillac, Michigan, this is a light dusting for them.
I think he got like 10 feet. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he's digging moats to get out of his.
Hey, Chris Womack's checking in from the chat, last week's guest.
Hey, all right. What's up, bud?
LFG. Womack, thanks for checking us out, bub. So, all right. So Marcus, I know that you are a guy who has aspirations to get behind the wheel, and I want to ask you a little bit about that, because you are an example of the type of person who grew up around racing, loves racing, wanted to work in racing, and just found your way in, right? And so talk to us a little bit about what your journey's been like, kind of getting your foot in the door, and then to today where you're working for a cup team, a pretty substantially sized team. I mean, you can say what you want about Rick Ware Racing. They're one of the staples of NASCAR, So talk to us a little bit about your involvement or your path, and then, what you hope to get as far as an opportunity to get some seat time moving forward.
Well, my path was to work with racing. Like I said, as a kid, I had a few doors shut in my face. I didn't let it stop me. I say about 2 years. I was just helping out with the team. It's a smaller team, but you got to think, for all the people that think, "Oh, Rick Ware's slow, they this and they that." You got to think. I'm gonna say this right now for everybody's watching. All your big name drivers came from Rick Ware and moved up. I can name some. Y'all probably know some, but it was a passion of mine, like I said, to also pursue my dreams, because I had people tell me I would never do this, never do that, never this, never that, never this, never that. So all those nevers built up to positive and pushed me to go farther. But seeing my buddies like Ryan Blaney, Bubba, and freaking now Cody, and now I'm good friends with Josh Balicki and Garrett Smithley's. I keep going, riding go-karts with them and trying to get more time, like just learning the steering of the cars. Just the sound and having that power up under you is a goal of mine, to actually get behind the wheel and do some small local tracks like Hickory and A Speedway, Caraway, South Boston, Virginia, all the tracks you can name. That's my goal.
Yeah. So I'm familiar with all of those tracks, but I just race them on iRacing. I don't think I'm ever going to get a shot to drive them in real life. But they're fun. Hey, and you know what? I hope that when you get to the point where you're a staple on the super late model circuit, I'm gonna buy me some TaMarcus merch. I'm gonna buy some Morgan Vans Racing shirts. I'm gonna wear them on stream and around the house. And we appreciate you rocking the 4 laps down gear tonight, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I had on going to the store, and this girl goes, "What is that?" I was like, "It's a streaming thing I'm getting on." I think you should go follow them.
I love it. Built-in advertising. So checking back in with the chat, Rick Diamond says, "Both weeks have been awesome guests with awesome stories. Well done." Steve Reedy says, "Checking in from Pennsylvania, watching. time to go snowmobile racing. Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing up in Pennsylvania. We're gonna have to check in with next week's guest, Jonathan Morrissey. He's in Eastern
Ooh,
Pennsylvania, and we're
yeah.
gonna ask him a little bit
Yeah.
about the snow. I know he's loving it right now, but so I find it very interesting, TaMarcus, that you have kind of a unique job. You think about NASCAR teams and you think about the drivers, the crew chiefs, the pit crews. Nobody ever really thinks about the guy that makes sure everybody, all the fans, have connection to the team. Because to me, what you're doing is bringing the day to day of the team into the fans and the fans into the world of the day to day. Is that rewarding for you at all?
Yes. Seeing the likes, seeing the people comment, saying let's go. Even if we had a shitty week, saying hey, you guys pick it up. Let's go get a top 20. Hopefully, do better this track or just like I said, just even like I said in the inboxes, like the fans that send positive messages that help big time. And I also share with the driver. So just seeing a smile on a kid's face, on an adult face, it don't matter. It brings a joy to my life.
But you got to admit, and the cool thing is, and you've done it too on your personal page when you go live, you still kind of fanboy out sometimes, don't you? You still kind of when you it sometimes it kind of it hits you when you're sitting there and you're going, oh hey, there goes the 23 car like you had put up on your Facebook, or oh man, there goes the 3 car, or oh there's so and so. I'm blanking
My
out.
favorite.
But I mean,
Hold on, I want to insert. My favorite one from Daytona week was you're walking by and it's actually you're like, "Hey, there's Chase Elliott," and he looks over.
Chase,
He obviously knew who you were. You could tell by his reaction, and he just looks at you and goes,
hey,
"Hey," and keeps walking.
hey.
I was like, "What is that?"
No, the video cut out, and we actually talked for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
After that, but yeah, Clyde is a good dude. But yeah, I do get just it amazes me still to be there. You know what I'm saying? To
Mm-hmm.
see the cars, like I said, y'all see on TV or on a video game or anything. It still amazes me. Like even drivers that I really don't talk to, just the simple fact is seeing them in person, like knowing like they right here, I can literally like do this to them, blows my mind.
Yeah.
Blows my mind.
That's got to be awesome. So, getting back to kind of the interaction with the fans, tell us your favorite story that you can think of an interaction that you had with a fan or that you helped facilitate between like a fan and one of the Rick Ware drivers. You got any stories that come to mind?
For me or just driver.
No,
In
just
general.
in
Could be
general. I
in
mean,
general.
something that, yeah, I mean,
Okay,
something
I
that
can give you
more
one
involved, yeah.
story. I can give you one story. All right, I'll say 2019. It was Homestead, Miami. Me and Daryl, aka Bubba, we were in the fan zone kind of area where you can get food at. It was so weird that he had the same hoodie and like pants, and we had both had on Vans. So he goes, "Hey, have fun. I'm walking this way." I'm like, "What?" So I'm walking by this fence. I mean, fans. I'm talking about probably 30,000 people, bro. And all you hear was "Baba, Baba." I'm like, "Who the hell are they screaming for?" So these little kids run up to me, "Bubba, can we get a picture?" I'm like, "I'm not Bubba Wallace." And they was like, "Yes, you are. Yes, you are." And I was like, "I'm really not Bubba Wallace." And I took a picture, and then like the dads and everybody kept swarming up to me. So I was signing my name the whole time. And
Probably
like I
looking
said,
going,
that stuff.
so that don't look like a D. That looks like a T. Is that a T, Mom? Yeah, that's a T.
But but the simple fact is like when we going by the fence and like they just like reaching their hand out and stuff like just slapping their hand. I was like, whatever. So, but the cool part is I guess with a driver, I would say like cool story. Shit. Uh with my team, I would say it would be probably with Josh Balicki. Um we were walking in, going through the back side of the garage, going towards the track for Daytona when it was duels, and some fans, man, and like Josh was like walking and like he was in a hurry, but he took his time to like talk to those people. Was really cool. That was probably one of my top favorites to see that he's normal, So that was pretty cool for me.
Yeah.
So, and I will say, NASCAR to me is kind of one of those ones where you can look at them and be realistic and go, okay, well, they're doing something it's simplified down. Simplicated is not a word. It's a North Carolina word, but I'll make it up. And if you see it back in the days, and I say back in the days when it was probably a year and a half ago when stands were full and you had those pre-race parties and you had pit passes and stuff where you would see the massive amounts of people be in that infield, and you could have that interaction easier, I think, with a driver in this sport rather than you go to a baseball game and you're in the bleachers and you're yelling and screaming for a Mike Trout autograph. You're just trying to be one of the 500 that's trying to get one, whereas here it seems like it's a lot more personable. I'm sure you see that too.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, like if it's a fan that knows, like you said, pretty much like 9 times out of 10, like a LeBron James, how many people probably said his name and he just walked by, wave. But knowing that you can, like I said, being there and watching all these people, like I said, like when I walked with Ryan Blaney, when me and him was walking to it, and it was pretty much drizzling, and he was trying to get out of the rain, and the fans was up there still waiting just to say something to him, and him to turn around and recognize him was pretty cool. Like that shows, okay, he recognized me as a fan. You know what I'm saying? So they normal people, man. Like I say, it's certain ones like it can be assholes. You can tell they stuck up their ways, but the ones that really take their time and talk to the fans, that's why they already are today.
Yeah, I've heard that, about the different drivers have different personalities, but it seems like NASCAR, maybe more than any other sport, I think the athletes are more likely to be friendly to the fans, almost more than any other sport, because I think they, if anybody, appreciate that they're there because of the fans, because they've all put their time in of the dirt tracks and the short tracks and the late models and the races where the only reason they even get any small paycheck at all to be able to buy the parts to fix the car to be able to come back out the next weekend is because of the 5,000 people that are up in the stands, and it's a more intimate setting. And I feel like some of these guys, LeBron James is a great example, and I've never met LeBron James, and I don't know this about him necessarily, but it seems to me like LeBron James has been playing in front of sold out arenas since he was 14 years old. It would be easy and understandable for him to not be used to or to forget, hey, this room full of 500 people that's waited in the rain to see you are important. You know what I mean? And I think that it's interesting to see the amount of guys in NASCAR just really, really warm and friendly. I mean, even some of the guys that were notorious, at least from what I understand, some of the guys in the olden days, you're talking, I say olden days like it was 100 years ago, even as much of a hard ass as Dale Sr. was, he still was friendly to his fans, and he took time to sign autographs. And even a guy like Rusty Wallace, who frankly is probably the biggest, the biggest butthead I've ever seen on the track, he still would take time and was good to his fans, and he was appreciative of it. And that's just one thing that I like about NASCAR. But enough off my soapbox. Let's catch up on the chat real quick. So Rick Diamond asked, was Michael Jordan in the pits on Sunday?
I heard he was, but I think he was up in the suite.
Was he?
Well, of course.
Yeah, I can't imagine Michael Jordan be down there during a rain delay, roughing it.
I mean, if it wasn't a rain delay, I'm sure he probably would have eventually came down to Bubba's stall. So
yeah. So and then Jordan Hawthorne, good friend of the show.
That's what I was laughing about.
Says,
this one that you're.
I'm here to try to get into NASCAR. I go slow and turn right. Correct. So Jordan is a clown. Jordan does our.
Jordan, if you want to do that, you can go road course racing and go slow as you want and see what the fuck happens.
There you go. Yeah, there you go. So Jordan's a good friend of the show. He's Jordan's a part of our regular cast for our NFL show that we do in the fall called Fourth and Long.
Oh, sweet. What's going on, Jordan?
Yep. So Jordan's here. Jordan does a Minnesota Vikings podcast every week, and it's pretty cool.
Oh.
So the I want to ask you about the impact that 2311 is making in the sport, because obviously we're just fans. Me and Shep, we sit at home, we're fans, but you get kind of the limelight to it. And what I heard one sports journalist talked about it one day. They said that people in America who are NASCAR fans think it's pretty cool that Michael Jordan owns a sports team, but what people in America who are already NASCAR fans don't understand is what it means internationally for a name as big as Michael Jordan to now be involved in NASCAR, and just the spotlight that it's brought to NASCAR, and obviously the work that Bubba does, off the track, and all the important social justice work that he does. It's good to see him getting an opportunity to be in fast equipment and have an opportunity to really show what he can do. But what, from your perspective, how has the emergence of 2311 and this opportunity for Bubba, how has that changed, the landscape of the Cup Series?
Or just the Cup Series or him?
Either or. I mean, you're friends. I know you're friends with Bubba, but I mean, what's it mean to both NASCAR and obviously to Bubba personally?
Well, with NASCAR, to be honest with you, this world right now is so fucking divided, which pissed me off. But it helped actually bring in more African American people to understand the sport. Now, I had my cousins hit me up and like, "Yo, I want to watch more of this stuff. When can I watch again?" And I tell them like, "Hey, stay tuned for this day," because of that, because that's all they freaking know. I mean, they don't really watch. I mean, they know like Earnhardt and with Junior,
right.
but they didn't. But Bubba really brought the young generation in and some of the older Black people into the sport to understand the sport and see why, no offense, why people love the sport. You know what I'm saying? And but for Bubba, it helped him a lot because knowing, like I said, that Toyota was fast as hell. If you didn't see it, I'm just saying.
As a rocket ship.
But I think it's
it was.
Yes, in person it was stupid. But I just think all this happens for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It was like a perfect timing for him. That's like when who can I go for right now? Like Monster with Kurt Busch. Ain't nobody in racing right now in the Cup Series that Monster energy will fit. I'm sorry, Kurt Busch, it fits him. Mm-hmm. So this whole deal with MJ and Bubba, it fits him. It's like a perfect fit, but the cool part is seeing his whole crew walk out with Jordans on was the baddest ass thing I've ever seen in my life.
That was awesome.
But,
well, I think it was Freddie that had posted on his Twitter about that it was his dad's tradition. Every time before a race, he had to have new shoes on. It was new. I had to have a pair of new shoes, and Freddie put on his Twitter, it was a brand new pair of Jordans. So
every time, like I got a couple buddies on that pit crew, and when I was seeing them walk, it was pretty cool seeing all the different type of Jordans and seeing them with Bubba walking out with like the Beats headphones was pretty dope. That was badass. And like I said, when he come out, I mean, obviously you're gonna have some negative fans that's going boo because of the whole Confederacy bullshit we can keep going on about, but I'm not going to talk about that. But it was like I said, it was a great feeling. Even if you were there, just knowing that this man has this opportunity, you were happy for him.
Yeah, and you can see that. I mean, and not only that, and I think, and Rick brought up the point, and you saw it, Nate. I mean, and me and you talked about it as well. I mean, the fact of, I was listening to NASCAR radio today, and like Antonio Williams, who's the running back for the Bills, with Ryan Gaff, he's doing that challenge with Alvin Kamara, who's doing it with Ryan Vargas. So it's bringing in a whole new thing. And I listened to the Alvin Kamara interview that they had on earlier today with Larry McReynolds, and they talked about, Alvin said he went to a Bristol race and he got bit by the bug, and that's where it got him. And I agree with you. And I think that's where it kind of differs is, and Larry said it, it's one thing to see it on TV and kind of watch it and you hear the broadcast, but it's different to actually be there and smell it and hear it and feel it. And that's what'll get you attracted to it. We saw it at Talladega when Bubba finished and he goes up to the stands and he's high-fiving those people and they're, hey, we're from Atlanta. We ain't never been to a race before. We showed up. Pitbull with Trackhouse Racing. I mean,
Trackhouse, yep.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. I mean, he was up there. I felt bad for Daniel Suarez because, I mean, he looked good in the duels. He looked strong in qualifying. The first couple laps, I mean, he is competitive. And I'm sure you saw it too because you were down there in the pits. After lap 14, I'm sure that demeanor of that whole pit lane changed real quick.
Yeah. Just knowing that. Sorry, people are in the group chat. Racing group is texting. But anyway, it was knowing that he's with a '99 Chevy, which blows my mind.
Exactly.
The car was strong, dude. The car was stupid strong. If people didn't get antsy, I think that race would have been a whole different ball game. Um, but it was pretty cool to see Pitbull and pretty cool to see not only Daryl in a new ride, but seeing Daniel and also seeing Eric Jones and I forgot who else was in something else. But it was pretty cool to see the switch up. Uh, but just knowing that, like you said, that knowing that different people are coming in for the itch now for the sport, which is amazing. I can't wait to see who else is going to come. I'm just being honest. I mean, who else is next?
Yeah,
So
it's become a
yeah.
big thing. I mean, the whole it's honestly like and I don't know if he's watching, but a guy that I know, Leighton, who's the PR guy for JD Motorsports, Ryan Vargas's team. I literally texted him today.
Okay.
He's coming on our show later this year, and I texted him today to try to see about getting him on sooner, just because I really want to talk about the significance of this Alvin Kamara deal with JD Motorsports and Ryan Vargas. It started from a tweet. Ryan Vargas tweeted,
Yeah, it did.
"We
He
need a
said,
sponsor."
Yeah.
I need a sponsor.
And some rando tags Alvin Kamara and says, "Alvin Kamara, you want to own a race team? Here you go. Here's your foot in the door." And he says, "I'm in. How do I start?" It's all it was. It's all it was. And I don't believe for a second that this is going to be a one and done. I mean, I would expect Kamara's company, the Big Squeezy, to be on that car 5, 6, 7 times this year and potentially a primary sponsor next year. Now, as long as they don't get rid of the TikTok car, because that paint scheme is fire.
They won't.
It is fire.
No,
Yes.
so good.
Yes.
But and they brought it up and they talked about it. You know, in the day and age that we are in now, with it's very technology based, it's a young man's kind of sport when it comes to marketing and networking. So you look at it with Ryan Vargas getting 2 big corporations for an Xfinity team like TikTok for a small name car. Then you turn around and you've got a 4-time Pro Bowler who
Teeth is worth millions of dollars.
I mean, and they were talking about it. Just think about it. When he was at Alabama as a freshman, he was behind Kenyon Drake and Derrick Henry and TJ Yeldon. He had to have knee surgery. Then he goes to Tennessee.
Kamara went to Tennessee, dog.
I know, but he had to have knee surgery. So he leaves. He goes to a community college, and then he goes to Tennessee.
Yeah,
but he was
right.
sitting behind those. So, and then they had mentioned it that he was up in the suite, and he was with Steve Phelps. They were talking, and he asked him, "How do I go about owning a team? Is it hard?" And Steve said, "No, it's not hard. We'll walk you through the process. It's not hard at all. If you're wanting to do it, we'll do it." So that's where that comes. Just like when they talked to Antonio Williams today, his aspirations as well is to be a team owner. And you're seeing that more and more with diversity and culture as it expands. When you start to go to tracks in areas that haven't seen NASCAR in a while, like COTA in Austin, Texas, or that when they go to Nashville, or you're doing something different that attracts people, like, hey, we're going to take these 3,400-pound stock cars and we're going to throw them on dirt. By the way, this should be really fun. What do you think about this? It's kind of appeasing to multiple people.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, just knowing who was it? Is it Kyle Long or one of the Long brothers? They used to play for the Bears.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I think it's Kyle Long.
Yeah, I think it's Kyle.
Yes, but he has his own Coca-Cola team on the iRacing deal, which is pretty cool to see him in. And so I mean, like you said, man, diversity is coming. Now we're getting more females, and it's pretty cool to see. Just to help the sport grow.
Yeah. I think
Go
it's
Haley Deegan.
I think she looked good until she wrecked. I'm just saying.
Exactly. I agree.
But I think the sport is definitely changing. And I think I am the type of person that I don't always deal well with change, but this is change as a NASCAR fan that I welcome, because I already see where it's to the benefit of the sport. I mean, years ago when Brad Daugherty got involved, basketball player, a minority, everyone thought it was crazy, right? It was like, well, what is this? Doesn't make a lot of sense. He just liked NASCAR, and it's kind of like the Alvin Kamara thing. How do I get involved? I want to get involved. I mean, he's from the South, so if you're from the South, you grew up around NASCAR. I don't care. You're not a fan, but you grow up and you know what it is. But these days, it's become more of a nationwide thing rather than just a regional, sport. And I love where it's going because I think the more eyes and ears that we get tuned to the sport, I think it's only going to be good, And the one thing I will say, to the point that was made about, actually being there, right, getting the bug. It had been a long time since I had been to a Cup race, and I went to the All-Star race at Bristol last year. I've been to some Cup races, been to the two Brickyard 400s, got to see Dale Senior win in '95. Been to
Awesome.
5-6 Indy 500s, which the Indy cars are great. They're awesome to watch live. But I'd never been to Bristol, and we go to the All-Star race last year, and it's hanging behind me. I was in my full head-to-toe Chase Elliott fire suit.
I was gonna say, is that the one where you were in your Chase Elliott fire suit?
Yeah, and my buddy was in his Kyle Busch fire suit. And
how many Busch Lights were you in on that one?
Well, listen, we'll talk about that offline. But just being there in the stadium, it took me back to the first time I ever went to a race. I had that same feeling, and I've been to a lot of races. I mean, I've been to a lot of big races, and just taking me back to that feeling of this is the coolest thing in the world, and I'm so thankful that this sport is expanding and getting, exciting races on TV. I mean, ratings for the Daytona 500 this year were abysmal, but a lot of people, attribute that to the late restart and the rain delay and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, if we could just get this sport in front of people will see why, like the three of us, we grew up loving it, and I'm really excited for it. But I want to ask you a little bit about, you spent a couple of weeks in Daytona. You were down there for the 24 hours. Obviously, this was Speed Weeks. What was that like? Let me preface it, because last week our guest Chris Womack, he was the front end guy for the 32 last year before Go Fast split up, and so he was telling us all about the different Speed Weeks he's been to, and then he's the truck chief now for Cody Rotorball's team in the truck series, and I asked him this question, and I'll ask it to you. Even after all of these times and all these years of you going, does Speed Weeks start to become kind of just it's another day at the job, or does it still feel like Christmas every time you go?
To me, Christmas. You should. I mean, it's just knowing that I'm there around all that horsepower and that smell and hearing those cars come past you. Christmas. Okay, Christmas. I could, even though I'm tired of Daytona, I could hear those cars nonstop. I'm telling you, like, it's just knowing that they're there and knowing that it's back and knowing that we have like 30,000 in the stands and 30,000 infield was pretty cool. So, like, I'm sure he probably said the same thing to you. It was more like Christmas.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yep, that was exactly his answer. Actually, it's kind of funny. I was expecting maybe a little bit of a different thing, but you said almost word for word what he said. He said it's like Christmas every time.
Yeah.
So what are you looking forward to most this season? I mean, obviously last year was kind of unique. It was weird with COVID and the race schedule changed, and but most tracks now are going to have some fans back, not full capacity. What are you looking forward to most in 2021?
Fans, good racing, and no rain, hopefully. But
I know
mainly
it's so
fans.
Frustrating on that. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, mostly fans, man. Fans and the cars, man, and just some good old racing, and seeing smiles on people's faces, even if they wreck out, just knowing that, hey, they there.
Yeah. So, I want to transition to talk a little bit more about, the life of NASCAR when the cameras are off, when the stuff that we don't see. I want to ask you a little bit about that. So obviously you're working with these teams day in, day out. You've obviously gotten to know a lot of people on a lot of different teams, not just Rick Ware, since you've been there.
Yeah.
I guess I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would assume that even people that aren't on Rick Ware Racing, but who are involved in Cup teams and racing in general. It kind of feels like you all are kind of coworkers and one big family. What's that been like? As you've gotten more and more used to that over the years.
So behind the scenes with no cameras. Just knowing that, like you said, it's like a big family. Over the years, I guess you can say, like, just meeting people and getting to know these people. Like, I'm not just talking about drivers, I'm talking about like crew chiefs or the pit crew guys. Like Paul Swan from the 3, you know who he is, right? Okay. Then you got Darrell Edwards, which lives not too far from me. Like, getting to know these guys on a somewhat personal level. Like, it's like a family, like you said, like a big family. Like, hey, if you need anything, text me, I got you. And that there makes my job easier, and knowing that, hey, if I need to talk to somebody, I can text these guys and just vent a little bit. Yeah. But behind the scenes with Rick Ware Racing is, yes, we're a smaller team. It's stuff that we do more than most teams do because we are a smaller staff. So I wish people could actually see what I see, and maybe they'll understand why more. But until that happens, no one will ever understand.
Right. So, I mean, these guys are all regular people, and the drivers are probably the most public faces of the team, but they're just part of the team. I mean, what is it like seeing the interactions between like the drivers and the pit crews and the crew chiefs and the mechanics and the interior guys and then the PR, which you're on the PR marketing side? I mean, is it just a bunch of regular people showing up and working and enjoying what they're doing?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's a lot of shit talking and like joking around, and it's a big thing. Like going to work and seeing them now is like a normal day for you now. If you know what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
But they joke around with you and like punch you, like play around, punch you, or make jokes, or hey, where we going for lunch today, or you buying, or
that sounds like my job. So
yeah, or who fucked up my inserts in my seats, when it's like just joking around, because they like joke around and put like little sticky shit on their stuff to make you feel bad.
Right.
But it's like just joking around and having a good time at work is a plus.
That's awesome.
So let me ask you this, because it's obvious. It was really cool to see, and of course he drove for Rick Ware on Sunday. Of course it didn't end well. What was it like seeing Derek Cope run, man? I mean, it was unfortunate, but I mean that's still got to be something that's absolutely pretty cool to see him get back out there.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I mean, I never really knew who he really was like that. But I felt when he hit the wall, it was like was it lap 3, if I'm not mistaken? Mm-hmm. He pretty much had no control of that car. He said, but the cool part was, there's nothing wrong with the car. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. I believe Dale Sr. came back and said, psych, here you go. And you know what's so crazy? And it spooked everybody out. That's the turn where Dale Sr. tire blew when Derek Cope won.
Yeah.
That same exact area.
Ooh, I like the conspiracy theory there.
Interesting.
Hey, I'm just saying.
You heard it here first.
That's not a conspiracy. Look, Dale Sr.
He's standing over your shoulder. He's watching.
Dale Sr. is with us even to this day. He keeps good watch over the Silver Thunder Studios back there, and I believe wholeheartedly that Dale Sr. said, "Listen here, Cope, you SOB, you're gonna try to come back and make everybody get behind you 62-year-old insert whatever Dale Sr. would call him. We're gonna see about that." Hey, and the best part is that when it happened, he almost tried. I don't know that he tried to, but he almost took out Bubba, and Bubba wasn't having it. He got out the way enough, and he lived to tell another day. I'm just gonna say this, and if people at home can feel free to disagree, but when that last wreck happened, I think that if Bubba would have been able to somehow get through it, I think he had the speed momentum that he probably would have cracked the top 3 on that, because everybody
he wouldn't.
You don't think so?
You talking about the last lap?
No, not,
The
not
last
in the
one?
last. Not in the last.
I think he was like P9 or
not in the
P8
last
when he
corner.
was
He
doing
was-
that.
He didn't have enough real
Okay.
estate in the last corner. I'm talking like the last caution. It was 25. Was it 25 to go?
You talking about the Christopher Bell wreck?
Yeah, and the Christopher Bell wreck, he didn't get involved in the wreck, but it seemed like he got shuffled all the way back, and he
Well,
struggled.
remember, he
Yeah.
also had a loose wheel too. He had a bad lug
That's
nut
what it was.
in the
I knew.
transition.
That's what
And
it
it
was.
pulled him a lap down.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's what it
Down.
was. It was yes. If he didn't,
Yeah.
if he,
He had to go back.
I still think if he, because I couldn't remember if he was involved in the wreck. That's what it was though. It was a loose lug that he had to pit again. If that doesn't happen, he's right there, and maybe he's in position to win that race when that last wreck happens in that last lap, because he was the, if not the fastest car on the track, he had to be close, and we got people in the chat. Rick Diamond says Bubba Wallace will be in victory lane this year. # Columbia PFG fire emoji. So Rick,
Oh, yeah.
So
Rick
that's
Diamond's
three
big
fire
Bubba Wallace
emojis.
guy.
It's three
It
fire
was three.
emojis.
It was 3 fire emojis.
It was three.
It was 3 fire emojis. So
Yeah.
so
Oh yeah.
so Marcus, you've gotten to know a lot of these guys. Obviously they've become more than coworkers to you. A lot of them are your personal friends. And you don't have to use any names to incriminate anybody. But has there been any really awesome stories come out of this?
Of if they're not on my team, or just any of it.
Just
something.
any of
yeah,
them.
anything.
Yes.
And I assume most of them will never hear the light of day, and I can appreciate that.
Well. I can link one. I think I can link. I think I can.
Okay.
Let's see. Freaking A.
Well, like I said, in the beginning of like first 48, they say some names have been changed for the purpose of the investigation.
Okay, I can give a different name. I can give a different name.
Yeah.
So John Curry, I went to his house and we all got placidly drunk, and this man threw up all over the place, and I wasn't too far behind him, and we went back drinking afterwards, and it was a good time. And this one person thought it was a good idea to ride a dirt bike while he was drunk and go up the hill to this house. Barely made it, and come back, bust his ass. So good times. But I can say that's a good one. Recently, oh wow, yeah. It's a lot of drivers actually. A couple big names. We were out in Daytona, and yeah, they were plastered and stuff they were saying and doing. Stay between us.
Oh yeah. Don't be telling no bad secrets on nobody.
Can't do that. I
Soon
can't do
we'll
that.
see a tweet that says person A.
Yeah. Well,
do
no. And
report.
the last thing we want is for 4 Laps Down to become the TMZ of the NASCAR industry, where everyone comes to tell their dirt
Yeah,
stories.
can't be having that.
No, we ain't trying to be that.
But
You'll never guess what happened.
But the cool part is, like I said, getting to hang with these guys and knowing these guys on a personal level.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best people in the world. I can hands down say that. And see me as one of their good friends. So it's pretty cool to become a friend of mine, and me being a friend of theirs, and they need me, they know to call me, which is pretty cool. Like, never in a million years I thought some of the people I grew up watching, or some that's watched still watch to this day, hits me up, so it blows my mind. Even when Mark Martin talks to me, it's pretty cool. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well, it's like Chip said, you do still fanboy a little bit.
I told you, just a little bit.
A lot.
All right, so what was the first track you ever went to as a NASCAR race? What was the first one?
Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Charlotte.
Ah,
Now, did you grow up in the central North Carolina area?
Born and raised.
So you went to Charlotte. So was it the Coke 600?
Actually, yes, it was actually.
Okay.
I can't stay away for that race. I try and I try and I try. It could be my age that's getting to me.
No, it wasn't. I take that back. That's when I got older. I think it was like a shorter race, but went earlier during the day. Then it ended a little early. Like, sun was still upish. I was in elementary school. So yeah, it was like, I guess it's not the 600, it was the one afterwards. It's like the smaller race. The shorter one.
Was it the Bank of America didn't know. What was it that Charlotte did?
It was like in 90 something.
Yeah, because
that was my first one.
Yeah. So my first Cup race was the '95 Brickyard 400. So growing up, my dad and I were Rainbow Warriors, tried and true, Gordon fans. I thought
right
I
on,
was
man. Yes.
Well, I was just gonna say I felt a little bit dirty because I also was a Dale Senior fan, and that was a time when it was a rivalry, you had to pick one, and I was like, I like both of them, I don't care. But my dad did not. He did not like Dale Senior. He just didn't like him. So we go to the Brickyard 400. It's 95. Gordon had won the inaugural the year before, so we're thinking, it's kind of Gordon's hometown track. He won last year. It was a big deal. It was like his second win, and so we're gonna see Gordon win one, and Dale Senior won. And my dad was pissed, but not as pissed as he was the next year when we went and Dale Jarrett won, because he didn't like Dale Jarrett either.
Was that the '88 Quality Care?
Was the first year, I believe, of the '88 blue Ford Quality Care, which is one of the greatest paint schemes ever.
I like the UPS quality.
Yes.
Or the UPS one was pretty good though.
I like the Quality Care one better.
The UPS one was pretty dope.
I like the Quality Care one better, but I think the greatest paint scheme ever was like and it's kind of spanned multiple drivers, but the classic Tide started with Darrell Waltrip, and then Ricky Rudd at Hendricks, and then Ricky Rudd on his own, and then Ricky Craven, like that Tide paint scheme with the big logo on the hood and it fades to the white at the tail, like it's such a great look,
The only thing I remember is Ricky Craven coming down Darlington, coming out of turn 4.
Ooh.
Him and
Kurt Busch. Closest finish in NASCAR history.
That's where you remember it.
Did he win it by like this? He won it like this, didn't he?
Because that car is at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. That car.
Oh, really? So that's the 32.
So this photo here is probably one of my not most exciting one, but just to get to see him for his last race is pretty cool. I don't know if y'all can see this. It's like blowing in and out.
It keeps moving. There it is.
There it is. So I'm having a hard time telling who it is, though.
Okay. Casey Kane, bro.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Casey Kane.
It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Talking to him for a little bit.
Yeah.
That day was pretty cool for me. It was at Bristol, actually. Because that's when Matt Benedetto almost won it. And,
yes.
Yeah.
One of the most heartbreaking post-race interviews ever was when they talked to Matt Benedetto after that race. Because I love Matty D.
Yeah, I like. You know what? Matty D is he's a different character. That's why I like him. He's like a black sheep. Like,
yeah.
I just feel like the guy can wheel a car. You just don't get the.
Well, I mean, look at his look at his situation now. I mean, he got another year contract. He's with Wood Brothers. They've already told him after this year, you may win a championship for us. That's great and all, but we've got this 22-year-old kid that just won the Xfinity race at Daytona and was doing really well at the Daytona 500. Yeah, he's going to take that ride next year. So sorry, but we'll see you.
But that 33 car can always be.
I know, and that's what I thought about when he ran that. Why can't Penske run a fourth car? So, I had literally thought that when they were running it.
So, and I speculate, and I
technically.
Don't know. Go ahead, TaMarcus. Sorry.
Technically, I want to say, the Wood Brothers is alliance. So technically, it's a Penske car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not in Penske, so it's possible they can do it.
But I was just gonna say, I think the relationship between the 21 and Penske is really similar to the 23 and Joe Gibbs, and that there's a lot of collaboration there. But at the end of the day, it's a separate team, it's a separate car. So I definitely think that I don't think DiBenedetto is going anywhere.
No,
I could see Penske potentially. I think if he wins a race, I think Penske probably tries to add a fourth car. I think them because Cindric's going to run 4 to 5 races this year is what they've announced. I think this is kind of their test cycle to see how it goes. And frankly, I don't see any reason if you're going to add a fourth car, I don't see any reason to pull Matt from the 21, put Cindric in the 33, and let her rip. Because Cindric has got. That's the other thing too, is that Cindric has got a lot of sponsorship. I mean, obviously Verizon has come on big with him, sponsoring both of his cars at Daytona that weekend. They have access to all of the existing Penske sponsorship as well. Money Lion, Shell.
Discount tires.
Discount tires, Menards.
Discount tires are a real good one.
Yeah, and Miller Coors.
Body Armor.
Body Armor. I mean, his Body Armor is Blaney's sponsor, right? Not Penske.
I think
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but
I think it's his. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think Cindric. I mean, let's be honest. When Cindric first got a shot, a lot of people were skeptical because obviously his dad is like, what, third in command at the entire company of Penske.
It's like Penske, and then his dad.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and it's the same. It's the same.
I'd say that like Austin Dillon. I guess you could say the same thing.
Well, it's a little bit different here, and I'll get into it. So I'll say this, and not to like get myself into trouble or anything like that, but
You probably are.
I'm always in trouble. But Cindric, I think, got the opportunity part due to proximity, but it doesn't matter how you got there. He was given a shot, and he's earned everything he's gotten because he's drove the wheels off the car.
My thing is this: Penske, and everybody knows this. Roger does not put people in a car that cannot drive.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. The kid got talent. Seeing that car in person, the way he's driving it, blows my mind.
Yeah. And it's,
But did y'all see the duels at all?
Yes.
oh yeah.
Did you see Garrett, man? At 13? Hey, look, I was glad, you know what? He was racing to get in, bro. And that car was stupid fast. No,
Yeah.
I mean,
He had the car.
he got pulled out of the draft, and that car sucked up so quick, bro.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. I wish him and Noah could have been in it, but one had to go bye. So I mean, and well, they both did. So
yeah.
But,
I think anybody that sees that would look at it, and I don't know Garrett Smithley, and I know that you do, but I'm a Garrett Smithley fan. I've liked him for a long time, and I think Garrett Smithley would probably be grown up enough to say, "Hey, I caused that wreck. However, it's a racing deal, right? I didn't cause the wreck because I'm trying to wreck people. I saw my shot. I went for it. And to be honest with you, I'm not sure, and I don't know his name, but Keselowski's spotter, I don't think called that out because I think if he calls out that run, I don't think Brad moves up.
nope. And the crazy part is, I don't know how true. Well, I've heard people say that Brad just wasn't mad at him. He said, "Hell, I would have done the same thing too.
Yeah.
I'm going to get in the Daytona 500. Brad's already in.
Yeah.
So, but if you look at it, they both were. He was going down, Brad was coming up, and I'm gonna leave it at that. But
yeah, I get it.
I'm just saying that 13 was stupid fast.
It was a racing move. I don't think. I mean, Smithley's not the guy to go dumping people, especially in a duel. It's a racing deal. It's unfortunate that Gregson got caught up in it. Gregson had the car. He's a hell of a driver. It's just one of those things, man. Now, that being said, could it have been avoided? Yeah, maybe if Garrett would have said, you know what, I don't care about getting in. I'm just gonna ride. I'm just riding. So it's like I can't blame the guy. I mean, hell, there's been less on the line for me in iRacing, at Daytona, and I've made that move before and dumped people, not on purpose, but it happens. This is a shot to get in the legitimate actual Daytona 500. You bet your ass I'm making that move every time, and twice on Sundays. Promise you. So I can't be mad at him for it.
Nah, it was pretty. Like I said, he was more beat up about it, but then he realized I had to do what I had to do. So, which was pretty cool to see. Like I said, to see him out there was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Even seeing Noah run was pretty cool. And even the tie deal, which was heartbreaking, but
yeah.
I'll stay silent
But-
on that. I don't have nothing to say about that.
I mean, there's nothing you can do.
But-
So you're wait. Don't even. No, wait. So you don't agree with the way the duels are, Nate?
to me,
No, Nate, 'cause he wants to be silent. Because there's nothing that, my opinion, you have qualifying on speed for a reason. You have qualifying that is there. That there is for a backup to fall back on if you fail in the duels. So you look at it, Ryan Preece is the fastest car out of those 8 open cars. He loses his charter. JTD just says, look, we may not even run the full season. So look, we're going to take the charter. We're going to give it to Ricky Stenhouse. You go race on your speed. What does he do? He races into a top 10 qualifying spot. So then he has to go into the duels. He qualifies even on that by finishing ahead of Ty Dillon. So what that does is that it knocks it out. Cindric finishes the lap down, yes, unfortunately, because of the pit issue going too fast, but he had the speed to fall back on from the Penske race. Mm-hmm. That is what qualifying is there for. There's nothing you can change.
I mean, I'm not going to talk much about the Xfinity thing, but he calls. Ty went down in the 54 car, and I'm just saying that it was
whole field gone. I know. I get it. My thing.
Yes.
My thing is my thing is just I felt like, I'm not saying I don't understand why they do it the way that they do. It's Daytona. You gotta be able to open it up and give more opportunities than normal to let a lot of people in. I mean, it's the Super Bowl of the NASCAR season. It's the first race of the year, right? The 62 runs 4 races a year, and Daytona's one of them. And Brendan Gaughan always got into the race somehow. So I get given an opportunity to some of those non-chartered rides and things like that. I guess my biggest I think probably my biggest concern is that I think it's unfair that Ty Dillon doesn't have a full-time Cup ride. That's the way the cookie crumbles. That's the real world. But I think he's a good enough driver that it's mind-blowing to me that he's sitting on the outside looking in. That being said, he gets an opportunity with the 96 car. He's got a badass paint scheme. That car was fast. He was driving the wheels off of it. And at the end of the day, he still is sitting on the outside looking in. And I think my biggest issue is that there are cars that were guaranteed spots in the race that I don't think could have ran as well as that car. So it's like, I get it, and I'm not mad about it. It's just unfortunate to see a guy and a driver as successful and fast as Ty Dillon setting out when there are cars that aren't as fast and as accomplished as Ty Dillon that are guaranteed. They don't have to qualify fast. Yeah, and I know there's 2 sides to that coin, and I'm picking one, and I get that. But it
you
sucks.
Good. Like we had the heat through Twitter and Instagram. You guys need to let Ty take a charter and let him come in, blah, blah, blah. Cause you guys suck and slow, blah, 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 blah. Like, I've been dealing with it all week. Like, I've been dealing with that. Fans that saying that they hate us, but they don't realize. Well, how about this? Bring your money and we put what you want on it, and then let's see how far that goes. Because you won't get nowhere. Tires alone are freaking ridiculous. So I'm just saying, it's like you said, it's 2 sides of the story. It's your side, your opinion on it, and I'm not mad at nobody for their opinion, but once you inside of it, of the racing world, then you'll understand more.
But see, that's the thing you have to look at it. So look at Michael McDowell for Front Row Motorsports. It's a 34 team.
Yeah.
Front Row normally comes on strong for super speedways and road courses. That's where they're normally strong. Daytona and Talladega are races where you normally see drivers that you have no clue was even in the race show up, aka David Reagan, and David Gilliland at Talladega that year. You didn't know, and they got his first win. So to say that, okay, Ty runs well at Daytona and Gaunt Brothers has a car, that's not to say that they're going to come in this week and run decent at Daytona Road Course, or they're going to run good at Homestead. Whereas right now, you put him in that 54 Supra for Joe Gibbs Racing in Xfinity. You're giving him Joe Gibbs equipment. You're giving him Joe Gibbs people. That is right now his best opportunity to be productive and accomplished. And I consider him a good competitor for Austin Cindric.
Yeah, for sure. I think the guy is a hell of a wheel man. Austin Cindric, fucking Xfinity champion. Dude is they're both talented, man. I mean, there's no arguing about that. like I said, I hope we get to see them both up in the Cup Series
Oh
more.
yeah.
So, but
And
I'm just excited more to see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm more excited to see how these trucks going to run on this road course. So,
well, now they're making changes to it. Did you see that? They are making changes to the bus stop in the back. They put concrete and turtles down there, so they're trying to avoid no more dirt cautions.
Yeah, the mud.
Wild.
Yeah, it was really crazy. Like I say, man, I'm just these drivers that are coming up, and prime example. What's my guy name that ran for Dale Jr. Late model stuff? God, what's his name?
How long ago? Who are we talking about?
Recently, he's driving an A car. He was driving an A car.
Oh, Josh Berry.
Yeah, Josh Berry.
Okay.
Josh Berry.
Prime example. He did good. He did damn good. I mean, until that wreck happened. I mean, I've seen that man race multiple times at Hicker and dominate. So, like I said, back to the story about late models and supers and stuff like that. I'd never been to one until I had to work it and actually be there. It makes you want to race. I'm telling you, man. If I don't just seeing it, man, like seeing these kids at 13 racing Pro Series, like what the hell, you know? And it's like, I need to get in the seat. I need to do it before I get too old. And
do you look at it and think I could do that?
Hey, kid, move over, move, get out.
Yes, sometimes yes, and sometimes no. That's like, no offense, I don't know nobody watching at the cops. Sorry, Chip. But like everybody think, oh, I can go street race on the street. There's people out here that got too much money but can't drive.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Mm-hmm. So like I can drive a certain car a certain way, then this person come in and drive a car another way, and my stuff is better than what he has. So it's kind of yes and no. Sometimes I feel like I should be out there racing with those little kids. Yeah. But someday I'm gonna have to. I mean, if I want to get my seat time, so hopefully it'll be soon.
Yeah. So I gotta ask one more thing, and then I'm sure Ship's got some things to ask you.
All right, go for it.
What is your favorite thing about working in NASCAR? It could be anything under the sun. No context other than what is your favorite part about working in NASCAR?
The cars, the smell. I got multiple things. The sound, the sound. That's number one. The sound of those cars. Just it don't matter if you don't like the driver. Just hearing them things fire up. Just I'm telling you, man. So I mean, I actually got more than one. It could be the sound of the car, the scheme. Maybe okay, two. The sound and the schemes are badass. Okay, those are my two favorite things because Kurt Busch schemes are just plain, but they dope. It's weird to say, but it's pretty cool.
That matte black with that bright neon.
Yeah,
green.
It's great.
And then some of our cars are pretty dope. Like I'm like, holy crap, this came out great. And then like don't know which car the 12 might have. It's pretty cool. I don't know, man. Just the schemes and the motors. Just the sound of those cars, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, so before I get to my question, by the way, favorite paint scheme, by the way, is Jeff Gordon's Jurassic Park paint scheme.
Boo.
That was always I've got it. It's up here. I loved it.
Boo.
You didn't, or the Pepsi one, the blue one.
It was okay.
Listen. Jeff Gordon. The fact that Jeff Gordon let them move away from the Rainbow Warriors scheme is a crime that he should be.
So, what did you think
for.
of William Byron's rainbow scheme? What did you think of that one?
It was
then?
fine.
Terrible.
It was
terrible.
It was fine, but the problem is that they should have replicated the DuPont oval because the oval fitting into the stripes made that scheme. Made it. Because you can't have a white Exalta logo on there. Now, I will say William Byron rocking the throwback fire suit was fire.
It did look cool.
It was fire.
I
also liked, and I always remind people that Gordon's fire suit was red on top, blue on bottom, and the pit crew was blue on top, red on bottom. Right? I think those little details are pretty cool. But my favorite paint scheme, outside of, because it's always going to be the Rainbow Warrior scheme, my favorite paint scheme of all time outside of that, I think, is probably the chrome with the red 3 All-Star scheme that Dale Sr. drove.
Yes. Okay. Hands down.
Straight
Yeah.
fire.
That's a bad one. Shoot, who had a badass one I like? I would like to say, man, the Batman that Dale Jr. had when he won at Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. See, and I like Junior's. I think it was his All Star Charlotte. See, I've always liked the Charlotte because me and you're from Charlotte, being in North Carolina. So All Star races are always those times that you see those patriotic ones, and you know, I don't know if I can't remember if Bubba ran the Air Force one then or before that. Yeah, that kind of warthog kind of look to it, or like with some of Jimmy's all-star paint schemes, the green camouflage one. I'm surprised, by the way, Nate's not wearing jorts. Normally he's wearing jorts and you can see his legs. This is the time where we can talk shit about him because he can't hear me. So but yeah, my favorite paint scheme, when I look at that, you know, and I'll put it to you this way. I love the Kellogg's paint scheme. I was a big Kellogg's guy. Exactly. I was the yellow. I loved it.
I'm still a sucker. I'm still a sucker for the green Interstate Batteries paint schemes. All of them. Kyle Busch's with the lightning. The old school Dale Jarrett, Bobby Labonte, like just fire.
They were nice. They were nice. They were really nice. And my favorite one I must say had to be Bobby Allison's. No, is it Davey?
Is
Which one died?
Davey would have been his. Are you talking about the Haviland one?
Yeah. Yes.
I'm looking at that right now, actually.
Are you talking about the all black car or the one that was white with the gold number?
No, all black with the 5 in the red. It was all black with the red stars. I think it was.
Yeah. The red. There was the red.
Yeah, that's
the red circle on the hood with the white star in Texaco and the red number. It was 28.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite paint schemes.
Yeah, and actually, I agree with you. That's a great paint scheme. And they actually ran with that for a long time with that number. I mean, it was Davey Allison, then it was Ernie Irvin, then it was Dale Jarrett, then it was Ricky Rudd, all of them. That same paint scheme, same number. The font of the number changed, but outside of that, man, it was solid. I mean the Tide paint scheme. Rick Diamond in the chat says the Hooters number 7 throwing back Alan Kulwicki.
There you go.
That was a good paint scheme.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you?
I like the Chase Elliott matte black with the orange though.
Fire.
That was nice.
So my favorite Hooters paint scheme from Chase was the Hooters Spirits, but it was all white with the orange and teal. He ran it in one race on in 19, and I've got the hat from that series. I've got the die cast, and I actually I'm in a league in iRacing, and it's a truck league, and I couldn't find. They've got all kind of Chase's paint schemes that they put on trucks and trading paints. There wasn't one for the Hooters Spirits, so I actually painted one from scratch, and I've been running it for a long time. It's that's one of my favorite paint schemes. It's pretty dope. But
hey, Rick had a question if TaMarcus likes Busch Light or Natural Lime White Claw. Which one are you going with?
Neither.
I take him more as a Zima man. That's just my opinion.
Oh no.
No, neither. If it's beer, I guess I'd do like a course, you know.
Mick Ultra.
Yeah,
is that the
maybe.
Is that the 64? Is that the 32 carb one, or is that the light?
The heavy one.
The heavy. There you go.
Yeah. I'm a whiskey guy. So,
yeah, there we go.
All right, so talk to us about whiskey. When you say whiskey, you talking bourbon? You talking Irish whiskey? What are you talking about?
Well, Buffalo. You already know that.
Buffalo Trace?
Yes, sir.
So I've got this. This sits here with me in the studio.
My man.
Just
my man.
Just for a time such as this, should we do a shot? You got some you got some bourbon handy?
Not around me. I'm
not
upstairs.
So. All right. Well, we'll have to. We'll have to.
How about this? We will make sure we go live one day.
Yeah, for sure.
And
we will drink some bourbon. We will drink some. So I actually got to tour Buffalo Trace Distillery last summer. It's pretty awesome. It was pretty cool. I don't know if you've ever been to Marcus. It's in Lexington, Kentucky, or outside of Lexington.
Never.
So Lexington's about an hour and a half from where I live, and we were down there. We were playing golf for a weekend, and a big group of us, and we went. It was pretty neat. They had they've got where a couple different places where they age the barrels, and one of them is a building that is very, very old, but was designed in a certain way to where it was ventilated. So it's almost the same effect as if the barrels are aged sitting outside. It just keeps like the rain and the snow and shit off of them.
Yeah.
And it's their main
pretty cool.
aging house. And it's cool to walk through and you can see the barrels are all labeled, you know, what they are.
That's
so
awesome.
Is it Eagle Rare? Is it Buffalo Trace? Is it Weller? Is it this? Is it that? And there were actually, it was pretty cool too, because the guy that was our tour guide, he's forgotten more about bourbon than I'll ever know. But the guy that was our tour guide is telling us about all these different experimental batches, and we found a barrel. They've got because every once in a while they're I don't know the term. The guy that's in charge of all the distilling and all the recipes and all of that, the master distiller, I guess you'd call him. I don't know. Every once in a while, he gets a weird idea for a bourbon, and he'll make like one barrel of it. Like just go in by himself and whip it up and make a barrel and then sit it in there, and then they document. Then they come back 5-7 years later and they try it and they see how it goes. Right? So he says
Wow.
some of these smaller batch, you know, bourbons that you get from Buffalo Trace are 25 years in the making before they ever hit stores, because they take a test batch and then another one and then they age. He said it's crazy. And we actually found a barrel in the warehouse, because if you just look at it, there's no rhyme or reason. We found a barrel in the warehouse of like one of these small batches. It was a single barrel, and it was labeled with this code. It didn't mean anything to us. And he said, this is interesting. He said, everyone always sees this because it's kind of where it was kind of a conspicuous like part of the tour. And he says, this is pretty interesting because it sits here and everyone sees it. And they ask me what it is. This is the only barrel in the entire world of this bourbon is right there. I said, so
Holy crap.
So what you're telling me is it's worth a lot of money. He goes, we don't know. He said it could taste like urine. We don't know. It's an experimental batch, you know, and it's pretty cool. If you ever get an opportunity, if you ever,
I need that.
you got to get over there. Rick Diamond's firing off in the chat.
He is, dude.
So Rick
I was
Diamond's got
laughing
a
at
question for you, TaMarcus. He says, who wins the Daytona 500 first, Kyle Busch or Brexton Busch?
I'm not gonna get started on that.
Kyle's what, 0 for 19 now?
Jeez.
I'm not saying nothing right now.
So
Sweet 16. He's 0 for
Rick
17.
Diamond,
Over 16.
yeah. So TaMarcus, I don't know if you've ever seen the picture of me at Bristol last year in the fire suit, but Rick Diamond is the guy in the picture with me in the Kyle Busch fire suit. He's a big Kyle Busch guy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, listen, I told him. I said around these parts, you know. I don't know. I respect a lot of what Kyle Busch does off the track. I mean, he and his wife's foundation for infertility, you know, and all that kind of stuff is very close and dear to my family. But you know, on the track, he can wreck every time. As long as he don't die, I don't care. I don't want him to get hurt. I want him to be able to provide for his family. But there's two rules in NASCAR: anyone but Logano and anyone but Kyle Busch.
Ooh,
let me
what
lower
was
my
that?
brightness here.
What are you
Hang
showing
on.
there?
Oh,
hang
the
on.
picture of me at Bristol. That's me and Rick Diamond at Bristol. Hey, we had a good time. And so listen, before we went, I bought a Yeti backpack cooler just because Bristol lets you bring in, you know, the cooler, the handle coolers, whatever. And then they said, well, because of COVID, you can't bring in coolers. I'm like, well, that makes no sense, but fine. Rules are rules.
Charlotte did the same thing.
Rules are rules. So they did say you can bring in clear bags, which is like
Clear
in
bags.
NFL stadiums. So we went to Walmart in not Johnson City. Where was it? There was a Walmart close to Bristol, and we bought 2 full-size book bags that were completely clear. We fit an entire case of Busch Light and 3/5 of Fireball plus ice in 2 book bags and carried them in.
They didn't say nothing.
Hey, we're gonna be there in a couple weeks for the dirt race, and we still got them bitches. We're ready to fill them with beer. Promise you.
I'll be there.
You gonna be up there?
I'll be there.
All right. So listen, we're coming in.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
When are you getting up there? Do you know?
What day is that race? Sunday or Saturday?
So the Cup race is on Sunday in the afternoon, and then the truck race is the night before, and we're going to be at both races. Listen, let's connect offline, and if you're going to be up there, let's see if we can get together, and I'll buy you some beer.
Oh, for sure, man, for sure.
So, Chris
Somebody
Land,
said Logano is a legend.
yeah, Chris Land thinks he's funny.
Yeah,
He don't
tries.
even use Chris Land don't even use no hair product, and he thinks he's funny.
Hey, let's be fair. The man turned $30. You know, he was.
Okay. Here's a story. So Chris Land is our 4 Laps Down guy. He's like the gambling guru, right? He does this live show on 4 Laps Down every Sunday where he tells you who to set in your FanDuel and DraftKings. Now with NASCAR, he always consults me because I know it more than he does. He's your guy for NFL, college football, all that stuff.
Basketball, all that.
So he's texting me on Sunday morning, texting me his FanDuel lineup, and he's got, you get a couple of the front guys in there, and then you got to fill it with, some bargain people. And I said, FanDuel has got Bubba really cheap because they're not accounting for the fact that he's in good equipment, so you got to put Bubba in there. He goes, all right, who's my 5th guy? And I'm like, I don't know. And so Rick Diamond says he only plays NASCAR Heat to wreck Logano. That's what I'm talking about.
That's messed
there
up.
you go.
That's messed up.
So
I send them all.
There you go. So Chris Land calls me and he says, I'm thinking for my 5th guy, I like Michael McDowell. And I said, it's a mistake. I said, it's a lot of people in the field. I said, McDowell will probably, if he doesn't wreck, he'll probably finish high. But it's a lot of people up there, man. They got a better shot of winning. He said, I think you're wrong. I said, I'm just telling you, I would swap him for somebody. I'd swap him for like a Corey LaJoie or somebody. And he says, no, I'm sticking with him. And on principle, he put $30 on the man to win. $1,500 on $30.
He was plus 5,000.
And he posted the proof. I said, well, that's what I get. Because
Let me hold something.
Yeah. Oh, I held it. Trust me. I held it big time. Because I told him, I said, I'd swap him. I wouldn't do it. I said, that's a bad bet. And he said, I have a feeling. I was like, whatever. So what was funny is he was watching the end of the race on, I don't know if it's YouTube TV or where he was watching it, but he was on a little bit of a delay. So the whole thing happens and McDowell goes to win. And I call him thinking like he's going to be going nuts. And I call him and he picks it up. He goes, how'd you like my call on McDowell? And I hear the race going back. And I'm like, how many laps you got left? He goes, it's 2 to go. I'm like, what do you mean your call on McDowell? He goes, well, he's running up front. I'm like, I'm just going to be quiet for a minute. You need to watch the end of this. And I didn't say a word. And I could hear, like, as the part where they're coming off the backstretch into 3 and they start wrecking, he goes, no. Oh, my God. And then he was just silent. And, like, you could heir the race in, and he goes back on the phone. He goes, that's right, bitch, and hangs up. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Mic drop.
Nah, that was.
Yeah, it was. He mic dropped.
Nah, that. Just like I said, man, that whole ordeal was bananas, bro. Like,
what was it like
when he
on
came
pit
through
road when that's going down?
Well, when he came across and won,
Yeah.
we sat there for a minute because we didn't know if the caution light came out before.
Yeah.
So I'm like, but you got to keep racing. You got to keep up your speed until the caution come on. So he did that. And when I looked down to see where his crew was, and I seen them celebrating, and I was like, ain't no freaking way, dude. Ain't no way. So he comes around and just lights it up. The coolest part, I wish I could have got a picture of. I was out there taking a picture when who was it? Tyler Reddick and
Ross Chastain. Ross Chastain pushed him out of the grass.
Yeah, so when they pushed him, when they pushed him, I wish I could have just had my camera on shutter mode and would see him drift through that graffiti. It was probably the most just happiest thing ever, man. And then when he came back in, he stopped where we were at and just pounded us out like, yeah, I did it. Knowing seeing how happy that man was, and he was in tears, happy tears, was the best thing ever, man. So it couldn't happen to anybody better, to be honest.
357 starts later, he finally gets his first win at the age of 36, 37.
Hey, yeah. It was pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I was nervous because I seen, then he sat back for a while, and I seen him pick up that speed and drop low, cut off everybody, drop low. I said, this son of a bitch is driving. I said, if he comes back, it's gonna be history I'm finna see, but I saw history too. So I mean, which was pretty cool, man. Like I said, just seeing him crying happy was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But the coolest part is, hold on, the cool part was how Tyler Reddick car looked out there with no hood was badass.
I know.
Just saying, and he was hauling ass.
God, I
Yeah,
can't
he
remember.
was.
There was a meme. I think NASCAR Chasm did a meme about it. Oh, I gotta find it.
He came back from the rain delay. He had a front bumper, no fenders, no hood, just a front bumper, just chilling. And I was like, and I thought about it,
Modified.
well, why would you put the front bumper on there? But then I was like, well, that front bumper is going to send most of that air around and mitigate the fact that you ain't got no fenders. But like it was wild looking because it was wild. It's been a long time. But see, that's the thing. It doesn't surprise me very well because if you remember in August at Daytona when Byron won, great race by the way. I mean, Kyle Busch was driving a wrecked bucket of bolts at about $1.98 around that track because Kyle Busch is as good as there's ever been in NASCAR at finding, sticking, and holding the draft and running. You could give him a cracker box on wheels and he's going to run it at 190 mile an hour in the draft. And he did such a great job. There are no other drivers in Cup. Period. None. Zero other drivers that could have done what he did with that car and be there in the end to compete for the win.
I think it was 2019, if I'm not mistaken, when he wrecked at Bristol and was busting lap times like it was nobody's business with a wrecked up car, like messed up.
Yeah.
I don't think you remember that when his car got freaking destroyed.
I do, and that's the other thing too. Is like not only and that's a great point. Is here's a guy that not only can go to Daytona and drive a wrecked car in the draft and compete. He can go to a short track, which is apples to oranges, and drive a wrecked car and compete. I mean, I'm telling you, at the end of the All-Star race, if they had 10 more laps, he was catching Chase. He was coming. He was coming and coming. And I was in the stands just hoping that there wasn't a caution because I knew with the amount of laps he wasn't going to catch him. I mean, it was just at that point in the math of the time, but he was picking up, a tenth a lap, and it was like, I mean, he is coming. But see, I mean, Chase did a great job in that race. I mean, Chase burned it all up getting away from the field, but he shot out of a cannon to start that last stage, and then he burned it all up and got so far out front, I think a lot of people just kind of wrote it off. They said, well, Chase wins $1 million. But, I mean, what a cool race. Were you at that race?
Actually, I was not. I think I was here with my son, actually.
Okay.
Who was watching it, and it was a fan I actually got to be friends with on Instagram. I don't know if y'all remember the black gentleman that climbed the fence.
I have a picture with him after that race.
Okay, so me and him been talking a lot here lately, and it's pretty cool. But that's probably one of my favorite whatever the heck you want to call it at that track, man, because him like, Chase Elliott, baby. Chase Elliott.
So I'll tell you a story about him.
He blew up on Twitter for that.
Yeah. Oh, well, so he was 2 sections down from us. He was on the backstretch into the entrance of 3 is where he was. And we were right center of the backstretch, like 50-yard line. And I'm coming out, and everybody's going nuts because I'm head to toe in Chase Elliott fire suit. I mean, like it's hanging up back there. And so everyone's always like, oh, yeah, go Chase, go Chase. Well, I see this guy, right? And he comes over to me, and he's like, hey, Chase Elliott, And I look at him, I'm like, wait. I'm like, aren't you the guy that climbed the fence? Like, I was thinking, like, surely they've, like, arrested this man. Like, that was wild what he was doing. And then he comes out, and so I get a picture with him, and I look at my phone the next day, and the picture that I took of him, it's so blurry, you can't hardly tell nothing. Because we was both hammered. Yeah. But I met him outside of Bristol, and he was, I'm telling you now, one of the nicest people I met all week. One of the nicest people. Was a great dude.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I didn't even catch his name. But he was
somebody's.
What we got on the chat?
Who was it?
Ed. He's talking about Jordan Anderson.
Jordan Anderson got screwed in NASCAR
and then
due to rain. Now he doesn't have another chance to qualify until May. Oof.
Yeah, it was that bad. Hey, you were talking about Tyler Reddick. Fox Sports had posted it. It was when you drive away from the body shop and the estimate's too high.
It's true.
That's great.
Or NASCAR Chasm was, all right, let's go to our cutaway car. And it was that one.
Oh, yeah.
Our cutaway car.
Cutaway car.
Larry McReynolds cutaway car. So Cynthia McKeon says Kyle Busch is not going to catch up to Chase. You're only in your dreams. Now listen. Listen, Cynthia. First of all, I'm a Chase guy. There's a Chase fire suit hanging behind me. There's a tire from Chase's car at Las Vegas sitting behind me. You don't see any Kyle Busch shit in the Silver Thunder Studios.
You bought that tire drunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
But you bought yours drunk too, didn't you?
No, I bought mine for my son. After you told me about how you were able to buy yours, and I bought the same thing. I remember the picture of you sitting in your living room when it came in, and you said
that was Halloween. It came in on Halloween. So we took the kids trick-or-treating, and I'm wearing a Chase Elliott fire suit, and the tire came in. So I got a picture of me sitting on the tire drinking a beer like this in full getup. And in my neighborhood, there were 3 people that knew it was a Chase Elliott fire suit. I was proud. And one guy thought it was Alexander Rossi, and I was like, "This ain't IndyCar, sir."
The cool part is about that. Did y'all? I don't know if y'all remember or seen it on my Twitter account or anything. Remember when Chase won at the Roval when he hit the freaking front stretch?
Yeah.
When he hit the. Okay, you remember when he did that burnout?
Yeah.
That crazy burnout. So I don't know if y'all remember. I grabbed all that rubber from off that win. I still have it put up somewhere, but I donated like half of that rubber to like random fans all over the internet, which was cool. I still have some
rubber.
Yeah, not well. Even pieces from when the car hit. I mean, people. I got some of all that, which was pretty cool. I'm just
sheet metal,
mumbling away, but I'm just saying that stuff there was pretty cool. Fuck you guys. So, but,
hey, I didn't say nothing bad. I think it's awesome. I mean, listen, I would have like door panels and shit hanging up if my wife wouldn't kill me. What I'll tell you right now, I get a FaceTime call. So here's the thing. So if my wife's upset at me, she calls me. If she's pissed, she FaceTimes me. So anytime I get a FaceTime call when I'm at work for my wife, I know I'm in trouble. So she FaceTimes me and I answer it. She says, "What the fuck is this?" And I'm like, all I see is you, so I don't know. She turns the camera around and it's the tire in the box. She goes, "What the hell are you going to do with this?" And I said, "Well, it's a couple things we could do. We could hang it on the wall." I said, "I could get 3 more and put them on wheels and try to build a race car. I don't know yet. I haven't decided." And she said, "This has got to go somewhere in our home where visitors will never see it." I said, I don't get it. Who doesn't love a race-used NASCAR tire? And ever since then, she's made me. I would gladly keep it down here because this is where I want it to be. But she was so mad.
Well,
she was like, "There is a lot of dumb shit that you could buy, and this is maybe the dumbest." I was like, "I don't
trust me.
I've got the tire from Alex Bowman at Vegas, and then I've got Ryan Priest's right rear quarter panel when he drove the Honey Nut Cheerios car at Michigan with damage up there in my son's room. So, yeah.
Listen, I have front end right now. I have like 4 front ends in this room. So let's,
can you just see TaMarcus in the garage going, "All right, guys, it's cool. I'll see y'all later. Y'all don't need this."
I was going
grab this bumper.
If I had a truck,
you don't need this.
If I had a truck down in Daytona when Bubba wrecked, they cut the whole front end off. I was going to take it.
Oh, that would
like a piece of it.
You could have grabbed some of the scraps of that and sold them because I'm in a group. So you know the Racing Warehouse there in North Carolina.
That's where I got my stuff from.
It's been so many people in their group this week asking about 2311 metal. When we gonna have some of that? When we gonna have some of that? And finally somebody chimed in like, "Y'all, it's been one race, and y'all need to chill. It'll surface, but relax a little bit. I mean, it's."
Well, I got something, but I'm not giving it up though. But
I wouldn't either.
Racing Warehouse is the same place that has an Earnhardt hood for like $7,500, which I can't pay for.
Yeah, I'm not paying it for the hood. But I was trying to get the whole right side of Blaney's 12 car when he wrecked, but I need more land to make a graveyard kind of ordeal.
Yeah.
But it'll happen eventually.
Yeah. Speaking of Blaney, are you still buying his Mustang?
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So when you do, I want to see a picture of you lighting it up or a video of you lighting it up. I want you to post it on 4 Laps Down.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. I'm gonna give him to sign the freaking the glove box too.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Well, I'll probably I probably drive it every so often when I do get it. So
Yeah, you got to drive it a little bit. I mean, you don't. There's no point in buy. I've never understood people that buy a car and let it set unless it's like a super collectible. But like a Mustang that's like fun to drive. Go drive that thing, man. I don't care. I don't care who owned it.
yeah, the coolest thing I think I've saw. See, Alice Bowman used to come to my town a lot, which is Greensboro, which ship you should know what Greensboro is.
Mm-hmm.
He come down for a car meet, and he had this freaking gnarly ass fucking Lexus that was on bags. Dude, I wish I had the money to buy this thing. This thing was mint, but now he got this old C10 truck that's on bags, old school with white walls, but it has like an LX7 in it. Gnarly, bro. I was like, man, if only I could.
So
who do you think will win the road course on Sunday? Which one? Truck race or Xfinity or?
Cynthia's probably talking about Cup cars because she's been talking about Chase Elliott for a little bit here.
Well,
Yes.
okay. Well, okay. So we have Cody Ware, which is on our team, which drives LMP2 cars all the time, and I feel like if he has a chance, and if it rains, he possibly could win it. Maybe. It's hard because Martin Truex is really good.
Hamlin's been good on the road courses.
Well, it'll be interesting. I mean, of course, there's always always the concept of Chase. I mean, Chase has been dominant,
king of the road course.
I mean, it's a toss up. I mean, when you really think about it, when now they're doing, and Blaney looked good at the Clash. Kyle was there in third. I mean, he just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. But this is kind of one of those ones, and it kind of fits in that Roval experience because I was at the Roval in October, and I mean when I watched it, Chase went from basically the ass end of the field to win that race when I was there. So, and that's the good thing is regardless of whether it rains or not, these boys are running, and I feel I revert back to our story. I would, if Woody's going to be out there for the truck race Friday, hopefully he doesn't pull off the windshield wiper of this truck. So, and let's hope because they use it for aerodynamics. So,
yeah.
But I will say the thing is with Denny, he uses shit up too much. That's why Blaney was in his ass the whole race. It's anybody's race. I'm gonna put it like this: if it's raining, even the small teams have a better chance to come up and dominate. Austin Dillon had a few times around this track, even though he went the wrong way at the 24-hour. But
God, I saw that. Or Kurt Busch going over to go get him a cup of coffee when he went into turn one.
Yeah. But Cynthia asked about Martin Truex Jr. or Chase Elliott. It's
MTJ.
Up in the air with that,
MTJ.
Cynthia. But MTJ, you think so?
No. Don't rule out Chase Briscoe.
No. Who?
Chase Briscoe. He's good on road courses.
Quit playing, bro.
Quit playing. All right, my bad. My bad.
Hey, don't ever say that again.
But I don't know if Martin Truex can keep the rear end from getting loose on his ass. He can get up there.
Yeah,
it's kind of hard because, like I said, those two that she mentioned are they like the road course kings when they go back and forth. So I just feel I don't know yet, man, because it's kind of hard. Somebody said Cal Busch. Quit playing.
Rick Diamond. Rick Diamond. Chris Land says Logano. Listen, I've seen Logano drive these road courses on iRacing, and he gives TJ migraines, dude. Because TJ's up on top telling him you can't be burning it too fast into these corners. I'll never forget, before the Roval last year, they did a practice session on iRacing. It was Logano and
at Daytona.
No,
Charlotte, wasn't it?
It was at Charlotte. It was Logano and Bubba and Daniel Suarez, and they all had their spotters with them. And they was talking
and Leahy, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah, and they were talking. Yeah. They were talking to TJ Majors, who's Logano's spotter. Like while Logano's out running laps, they're like, "What's your biggest concern here?" And he's like, "My biggest concern is that Joey's just going to overdrive this car, and he's either going to split it in half or run it into the wall. I really don't know." And you could see, man, I mean, he's just fighting it, just back and forth, fighting, going, trying to fast. Now, granted, Logano's a good enough wheelman that he was able to get around the track clean for the most part. But there was a couple times, man, where he dumped it, and it's like, man, I don't know. So I'm gonna say no on Logano, Chris Land. I said no on McDowell, and I was wrong. But I would still say no on McDowell. But McDowell does run road courses pretty well, and he is starting second. So I don't know. Maybe there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's where TaMarcus says, "Quit playing, bro."
Let's see that number 5 car go in victory lane this weekend. How about that?
No, it ain't gonna happen.
No, not on this track.
I'm saying it's too soon. I give him Homestead because he loves to run on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So Homestead will probably be his best bet, to be honest. Even Vegas. So I mean,
I think Kyle Busch is winning Vegas. I hate to say it.
Kurt's gonna win that one.
Hey, he won. He won it last year, but we'll see. It's Kurt's. I think it's Kurt's best track, but I think Kyle's in a much better mental state this year than he was last year. I think he's out for blood, and I think he's going to be a strong contender. I think Kyle Busch is going to win multiple races this year. I hate it, but he's going to. I think.
Yo, the man can drive, so I'm not gonna. The 11 looks strong in the class. Yeah. But he burned his shit up, like I said earlier. Too quick. That's why Blaney was pretty much like bye-bye.
Maybe Fast Pasta will do pretty good.
Yeah. If he don't burn his tires up quick, yeah.
Yeah, I like Anthony Alfredo. I am surprised that he's got a full-time Cup ride. I hope he does well. I'm not sure he's ready, but I'm cheering for him.
I am too. I really am. I like the nickname that Clint gave him. Fast Pasta.
No, that's not. Clinton didn't give that to him. That's his Reddit username. He's been on Reddit for like 4 years. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So he calls it his fans are the Sauce Mafia, which is kind of cheesy, whatever. His
Cheesy
Reddit username is
pasta.
Fast Pasta. And he's big into iRacing. He's doing a lot for getting, some involvement there. I mean, I like the guy. When I found out, because he was talking about, I don't know what I'm doing next year. I'm like, well, you ran part-time in Busch cars for Childress. Like, if you don't know what you're doing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, full-time Cup ride. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And Ty Dillon's sitting at home? But it just was what it was. So Chris Ferguson, no Cindric this week. Allmendinger's running the 16. Allmendinger, obviously, always a competitor on the road course. If it rains, he's going to be especially competitive. He knows how to wheel those cars, so but I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be hard to beat Chase. But I'm gonna be right back. You guys continue discussing the road course. I'll be right back.
Indeed.
See, again, no jorts. See, normally, and he's got like dress shoes on, so obviously.
Well, he got the cat there. He must just got off work.
Let's see. When he called me about 5:30 my time, no, 6 o'clock my time. He was just getting home, which would be 5 o'clock their time, so he's about an hour behind.
So since we got people in this chat,
we do have a lot of people, which is great, actually.
Well, my screen is not a lot, but maybe yours is more. But which track are you guys attending to this year?
So I went to Charlotte last year. I took my son. It was my son's first race that he was able to attend. Chris said Nathan had to poop. So it's I think we're looking at going to Darlington for the throwback race. We're trying to do one a year. I know that there's a plan amongst my family at some point to do RVing at Talladega. It's just whenever we choose to. And when we go, that's the plan, is to go down there and do that.
Nashville for sure.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
And I'm telling you, and I think we talked about, I think you were in the chat when we were doing 4th and Long. You were talking about Nashville is around the time of your birthday, if I'm not mistaken, or it's the Grand Prix. Correct. One of the two is around your birthday.
I think one of them. Yeah.
And so we'll talk about this, and I guess kind of towards the end. So, I mean, out of all the tracks that have been added, what are you most excited to go to? because I have mine.
Nashville.
See, I'm Coda. I've always been a huge Coda fan. I absolutely love that track. It's just a unique experience. I've always been a big Coda
Reason
fan.
why I'm saying Nashville is because when last time the track been ran,
Well,
so
never in the Cup Series.
No.
that's what I'm saying. So that's why I'm kind of excited about it. I'm more excited about seeing this dirt shit go down because it's gonna be some clear up shit going on. So,
well, I mean, you take Eldora away and give Cup Series a dirt race. I hate that they took Eldora away, but
yeah, but
I think
something different, I guess.
I don't know if it'll ever come out, but I feel like there's a story there that I think NASCAR is going to sit on.
As far as monetary,
it is a story. There is a story,
not just money. Not just money. I think it's a story.
No.
Yeah.
It'll come out. Like they say, shit will buff out. It'll buff out. Yeah, she said she thinks Nashville too. Yeah. And then my track I've never been to, I'm excited for is good old Texas. So
and that'll be fun for the All-Star race, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean that track right there will eat some tires, so that'll be interesting.
I love Texas. Between Charlotte, Texas, and Atlanta, obviously kind of those sister tracks, same shape, same length. Texas is the fastest.
I hate Atlanta.
Texas is the fastest. And Texas, to me, it races. One of the reasons why I like, Auto Club, rest in peace, Michigan, Texas. These are fast tracks where the draft matters, but you still got to drive the car.
I guess Chicagoland would be the same too.
Yeah, Chicago, Kansas. I mean, those are all fun tracks. Kansas is one of my favorite tracks. Chris Land is mad that they took Kentucky away. I know it was 90 minutes from my house. I never got to see a Cup race.
Did they take away? So what's going to run there?
Nothing. Trucks, Busch, and Cup all gone from there. So
hey, did you know that they're working on Rockingham? By the way,
they're what?
They're working on Rockingham.
I heard.
They were working on it because they had a small non-NASCAR related late models series that was supposed to run March or April. It got pushed back because of COVID, so I think they're not running until May, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah, they've got Rockingham. They just painted the walls. They've got Rockingham in raceable shape. So we'll see. I think if they're going to try to reintroduce Rockingham, they'll do it at they'll probably do ARCA trucks maybe. See how it goes.
Maybe.
Which they did trucks.
I feel like
2012, I want to say, or in the early or mid 2000s. I got to look, but they did do a NASCAR race there, way after the fact of that one ending. So
that I don't know.
But my thing is with Kentucky though. That's a pretty track. I hope they use it for something. Like I really hope, like IndyCar maybe one day or something.
They ran Indy cars there previously before they got Cup.
See, so hopefully they just taking this track away to see what these new tracks are going to do, because I feel like Kentucky sold out a lot, didn't it?
Oh, every time.
If I'm not mistaken,
they had zero. That's the thing. Like, so all the fans, they when they said, Kentucky's going away, everyone's like, wait a minute, we don't get it. We don't have any trouble selling tickets. They sell out the campgrounds, the tickets, all of it every time. The reality of it is, and this is NASCAR's unofficial answer, but if you ask some people, and you're much closer to the center than we are, so tell me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like the reality of it was that NASCAR didn't feel like the Kentucky races were competitive enough because it was like 399 miles of single file, and then that last lap, everyone just goes balls to the wall, and then you have Cole Custer sneaking one on the outside, But to me, Kentucky races were always fun to watch, But I don't know if it's too much like too many other tracks, that mile and a half.
I don't think so. I think it's different.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's a different track.
To me, the only track it's even remotely similar to is Las Vegas. The only track it's remotely similar to. And they're not. I mean, Vegas has got 2 races a year, and that ain't gonna change. So it's like, well, I don't get why they're taking Kentucky away once a year. If it was 2 a year and you take it down to 1, like they took Dover from 2 to 1. But now they're running Darlington twice. Which I get. Darlington's great racing, but but I don't know.
I really want to see Dawson twice, to be honest. But hey, it ain't my doing. I'd rather see, to be honest, I want to see a track twice. Is Chicagoland still in?
No, it's gone too.
See, so what are they doing with these tracks? They're just gonna let them rot?
I don't know.
Old North Wilkesboro treatment.
Well,
Because
yeah.
no, because those tracks are too much. They have a lot of updates on those tracks. What I'm thinking they doing, I'm serious. They trying to figure out what they're gonna do, like with these small. They take them away to see what these new tracks gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Then they're gonna add. I hope NASCAR really do bring all these tracks back, and they make the season longer. Just saying, or take away the double races and give it to each track. You know what I'm saying? Like make it.
So nobody gets no tracks get 2 dates. Everybody just gets 1.
There you go.
Yeah, I could see
That's
it.
how I feel about it. I mean, because why not? I mean, you wasting a nice place to sit up there. Them fans in Chicago were pretty stoked about that track.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people in Kentucky, which I've never been to that track and wanted to go. Now I can't go to that. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
Well,
pissing me off now thinking about it.
Well, I don't like to end on a sour note.
No, you sour.
Listen, I've been told that before, but I don't like to end on a sour note. But TaMarcus, I want to thank you for coming on our show. I want to thank you for being a part of what we're doing here at 4 Laps Down, bringing your stories and your insight and your input. Before we close down shop for the evening, give us your final thoughts. Anything you want to say? Any projects you're working on that you want to get the word out about and let the listeners at home know what we're looking at?
Well, some projects I can't say. My car I'm working on. But
fair enough.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned. What's going to happen? Like I said, it's going to be a rocky season. I don't know what's going on now, but we're just going to see how this thing going to roll out. And so far, what you guys have going on, I really like it, man. It's a cool gig. Hopefully, I can just special guest some days. And I'm also digging the whole background you got going on. And y'all, like I say, I talk to you guys a lot outside of this, so y'all will see stuff probably before anybody else will. So, yeah,
right.
Look through my eyes, so what I see. So,
right, love it. Well, thanks for coming on the show, man. I appreciate you jumping in with us. Ship, you got anything to add before we sign off here?
No, by all means, we appreciate it. Make sure you guys tune in next week, and then don't forget we actually do have we got some racing tomorrow night too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. We had to take a week off for the duels, but we got the Elite Racing Association will be going through season 0. We skipped Sonoma last week because of the duels.
Yeah, but now I got to schedule Sonoma next season because I had some drivers.
So you know what tomorrow is? It's Talladega.
Oh, there you go. Yes.
Tomorrow's Talladega.
I love that track, dude. I love that track.
Yep.
So we'll see what Ed can do. E4 been dominant, so we'll see what he can do tomorrow night.
Yep, looking forward.
Cynthia, thank you as well.
Yep, right on cue. Ed says Dega this week in the chat.
Yeah. Well, fellas, like I said, thanks for having me on here. I'm gonna text you guys off the air. So,
sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, TaMarcus, thanks for being here.
Drink more.
Thanks for everybody that tuned in from home. There's a lot of stupid stuff that you could, be watching on a Wednesday night
for 2 hours.
And you're here hanging out with just a bunch of NASCAR fans, talking about racing. And TaMarcus has got a little bit of a better seat than we do. That's about the difference there.
Nah. Y'all see this better than mine. Trust me.
But we appreciate everybody tuning in. Everybody from all the different groups all over Facebook jumping in. Be sure to follow 4 Laps Down. Make sure you enable the notifications so you see every time we go live. We're going to be coming live to you next week, 8:30 Eastern. Jonathan Morrissey from Richmar Florist, a big cup sponsor, is going to be here. It's going to be a good time hearing about the sport from the eyes of a sponsor. Jonathan's got a great perspective. He's a great guy. We've gotten to know him over the last couple of months, and he's going to be here to answer your questions and to talk a little bit about rubbing and racing. So with that being said, everybody, peace, love, and Busch Light.